Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to Infection Free Zone. This game launched in April into early access, so it's, there's a lot of work to be done on it, but it looks amazing. And one of the greatest things about it, the thing that I really like most and the thing that intrigued me most about it, is it uses OpenStreetMap's real-world data. So you can set up your base in your own home. Now, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to. I don't think that's such a good idea, being a YouTuber, telling everybody where I live. But what we are going to do is we're going to go to the Winchester. Now, the Winchester was a location, the filming location of a very popular, some might say, cult film called Shaun of the Dead. If you like Shaun of the Dead, what happens is everybody goes to the Winchester to hopefully fend off a zombie apocalypse. Now, the Winchester itself no longer exists, well, the filming location doesn't, but I know exactly where it was. It was in a place in Greater London, in Greenwich, and the original name of the pub, before it was called the Winchester, was actually the Duke of Albany. Which was in New Cross in London. It's now a house of some description or some sort of housing. I'm going to make things easier for me. So I'm going to drop the number of hordes. I'm going to leave everything else as it is. And we're going to call this the Winchester Zone. So we have tutorial events. I'm going to put them on just so that we can learn the basics. I have played it a little bit, but I could always do with learning more. So yes, the Winchester itself, or rather the Duke of Albany, has now been demolished, or rather some of it has been demolished and it's actually been repurposed and is now flats, I believe. Now, the game takes a bit of time to load, given that it uses the OpenStreetMap and it needs to generate a whole new map every time you play, but once you've played like one certain set of maps, it loads a little bit quicker. But we're going to dive in. You're going to see the intro movie and get a little bit of the backstory of this very interesting and very well designed new game that can get a little bit chaotic. So I'll see you on the other side.
The world as we know it is gone. What we called the mad virus appeared out of nowhere. It made people turn extremely violent, aggressive, and unrestrainable. Soon later, the infected became bloodthirsty, more like vampires than human. There was chaos, panic, and war for survival. Desperate people were just as dangerous as the virus itself. Even our loved ones could become a threat. The infection spread quickly throughout the entire globe. Every region, every country, every city. Drastic measures were taken to get rid of the infected. They all failed. The last chance for those who seemed immune was to hide in underground shelters, ones that we improvised in garages and basements, loaded with food, water, and air filtration systems. These were the places where we survived, sealed from the outside. For so long, we waited for any signal, any info that a cure had been found, or the situation stabilized. Instead, we listened as the world grew quiet. Our resources were becoming depleted. Life support systems were failing. And just as we were losing all hope, we received a distant call.
To all survivors, the infection is in decline. Seek others and rebuild.
This was the impulse we needed. There were others out there. We could come back to the surface. No more hiding. From the ruins of the old world, we will build our new home.
Okay, so our first mission is to actually set our base of operations up. Now, we want the Winchester, or the Duke of Albany, which is actually this building here. Now, it hasn't generated as an obvious pub, but we know, and I know, that it's on the corner of this road here, Monson Road. So this is the Winchester, the location of the hit film Shaun of the Dead. And that's where our headquarters is going to be. We immediately get a transmission. Now, there are a lot of these, so what I am actually going to do to begin with is I am going to turn off the voiceover volume because I'm going to be talking over the top of it and I don't want it to get in the way of everything. So there we go, we are back, and here we go. So we have our first squad leader and they want us to look for food. So we just need to head out and look for food. Something else has gone wrong and now everything's blurry. So I'm just going to adjust that and we're going to get back to our normal way of playing things, hopefully. Right then, so we need to scavenge for some things. So what we need to do is just look out for some food. We turn on our scavenger view, which gives us this wonderful little look at what everything is going to be. We're going to go over here and we're going to scavenge this immediate building here and start getting some new stuff. We need to find cans of food. They want us to find 4 cans of food. We can speed up the process of this happening. We've found some food, we've found some ammunition, which is always good, and that's about it for there. So we can move back across the road here and scavenge again. When they fill up their inventories, they will immediately go, but then they'll come back to the building to scavenge more food. Going back into our transmission log here, we need to check some shops or warehouses to have a think about what we need to scavenge next. So these guys, they aren't quite full, so they'll go off and they'll scavenge more, and another transmission has come in. I'll speak on behalf of the other citizens. Let's go and adapt the buildings to suitable shelters so we don't spend one more night underground. So what we need to do is adapt a building into a shelter, which is done by clicking on the building that you want, clicking adapt building, clicking on shelter, and then going back to that area. So our other villagers who aren't as members of scavenging parties will start building a house. Incoming transmission again. We've found a car that looks salvageable. Let's try to make it run again. Okay, we're going to try that. This is really good. Now, cars have their own inventory, so we're able to head back out. It's 5 PM now. We're going to get the car as quickly as possible. I shouldn't have let that speed through the day. So the sun is getting low. We don't know what's going to happen at night. We can continue our scavenging operations in the dark, but that'll be way more dangerous than waiting until sunrise. We're going to continue because I really want that car. Right, the workers can return home. That's fine, but I really need to get this car. So we're going to get in the car there. We do autosave, and then we are now, hopefully, in the car. The car is now running, and we can drive back to HQ. Oh god, we've got signs of smoke. It's coming from a building. There might be some people in there. I recommend we go and investigate. We're not going to do that tonight. We're going to go back to wherever our squad is. If I can just remember how I do that. Right, we've missed driving. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it does speed up. Oh, we can run over infected as well with that, so that's good. Where are they? There they are. Let's get home. Oh, we've just seen a group of infected. We're going to hide. So, can I finally get this car back, please? Yes, thank you. So the car will move a little bit quicker. We should create another squad before we investigate the noise. So we can do that by going into our squad panel and creating a new squad. Instantly gives us our second squad. Everybody's gone back and is now safe. So we'll wait out the night. It's getting quite late. We've got a horde spotted somewhere. There it is. So you do track the hordes until they go out of your field of view. And that's actually a very useful technique. We've got a couple more coming in here. So we're going to slow things down because this one's getting quite close to our headquarters. But we will take them out pretty quickly. Down they go. Now, I'm not sure if the sound of our weapons will attract more hordes, but it is worth, thinking about. Maybe we can get silenced weapons of some description, but we now have a car, so that's really good. And I assume you'll be able to find more cars, get them up and running, and have all of your scavengers being able to actually use vehicles. These hordes will take refuge in buildings during the daytime. They're not exactly zombies, like it said in the intro. They're kind of more like vampires, so it's kind of like 30 Days of Night. Was it 30 Days of Night? They're a bit closer to that in respect of what they act like. So we've managed to clear this building here. Now what I want to do is I want to start prepping my actual area to be able to put in some farms. Now this building here can be demolished, so we're also being told to build a watchtower, which we will do. But what I want to do is I want to queue this building up for demolition. I'm going to deconstruct that, and then this one here I'm actually going to turn into a warehouse. This is something that I'll be asked to do later on, but what I found is as I was getting more and more resources, I was finding it very difficult to actually do things that I wanted to do during the day. If we want to build anything else, we need more resources. Send workers to chop down some trees. Maybe we can build some palisades. So what we can do is we can tick here to gather wood. We're going to have all the wood from this area here gathered. Bring that back. We've now adapted the building, so we've got a new shelter up and running. And this car is now on the move. So we're going to go over to this building next door and scavenge that. And then we're going to scavenge here as well. We still need to find the source of that smoke. So we will be doing that very soon. But for now, I just want to let things get going. We're going to build some stuff. We're going to build our first wooden tower here. And we're going to build it right on the street there. because when that horde comes out, we're going to need to be very careful of that. And then we're going to build another one here and another one here. Now, we don't have any palisades yet, and I just kind of want to wait until we've got some more resources to build a full palisade wall all the way around. We've cleared out that building, and we're just going to load up the car with everything and then drive to the headquarters with our spoils. Great, so we're going to drop those off. This scavenging team will now go into that building. We've got a horde spotted, but I think it is just that one in there. Then we're going to have them get back in the car. And we're going to drive over to this building here. In fact, we'll go to that one first to pick up some fuel. We do need to keep the vehicle fueled up. It's still early morning, so we've got plenty of scavenging that we can be getting on with. There's a horde in that building. More hordes everywhere. But here, we'll get some fuel. Excellent. Right, we've managed to scavenge whatever was in there. Got the fuel that we need. Building is clear. We'll go back to the car. And then we'll drive just up to this building here. We've got to watch out for that horde. Quite a few hordes knocking around, so we do need to be very careful. Oh gosh, I didn't mean to do that. Get back there. There we go. Right, we've found some survivors. They've been living in terrible conditions for the last few years. We could bring them in, but we're going to take them. So these survivors will go back. We're going to go and get back in the car. These guys are now going to go scavenge in that building. Now that we're in the car, we're going to go scavenge here because there seems to be quite a lot of canned food there. And then these guys are going to start moving into the buildings across the road. So you've got to do quite a bit of management. Lots of like little micromanagement going on. That building, once it's demolished, we'll get a lot of wood, raw metal and bricks. But the reason I'm doing it is because eventually you'll get farms. And I'd quite like to put some farms in along here. So that's going to involve probably demolishing these buildings as well. I do want to scavenge that one. And what I'd like to do is kind of have this as a big area for, I don't know, farming, maybe some watchtowers or something. And then find a way to kind of unify a certain like area of street block around the Winchester. Or maybe what we'll do is we'll run a palisade wall all the way along the back of the building, demolish this one, and then branch out into this area here. So we kind of create this little square that goes all the way around. So we probably have to demolish this one and keep all of these buildings for adaptation. And it's just about kind of plotting where you're going to have these areas. So that looks like it's now done. So we'll put them back in the car. And we'll just have a quick look to see if there's any other buildings of note. There's a little one down here that we can get some food from. So once again, we'll head down there to scavenge. We've got a completed building. Our warehouse is now up and running. These guys are full, so we'll have them head back to drop off. And all of our watchtowers seem to be getting built really well, which is good. We don't have a pistol for this watchtower, unfortunately. So finding weapons and ammunition is probably going to be the next thing that we look to do. But I'm not seeing a great deal of stuff dotted around. We've got some more areas where we can definitely get some canned food. The car is pretty full now. And it would be good if we could find another car. So that our inventories don't get full so quickly. But it's good to send these guys out on their scavenging runs further afield, given that they've got the car, whereas these guys can just go back and forth in the local buildings. We could bring in another squad, but I'd quite like to keep as many people as I can just kind of like in the like immediate area so that we can actually build a settlement that's going to help us survive. But the car itself, that can go quite far. So we've got decent amount of fuel in the car at the moment, and we just need to keep moving around. There's some more fuel down here, so I'm going to head down to this little area here. And what is interesting is you can see what everything is. So here, this is apparently a car wash. Here is a Sainsbury's. This is a UK electronics repair centre. A new X-Coffee, XL Centres, Hearts Lane, loads of different, these are just houses by the looks of things. And Cinder's hair studio, which apparently has food in it. I think that's really cool. And it's a really good way to use that open maps just to kind of generate what's there. We're going to do one last scavenging run into that Sainsbury's there. Let's see what we can get. But everybody else has gone home. The horde is on the move, but that will be taken down quickly. We are going to bring out this second group just to assist. That should be okay. How are we doing for the scavenging here? We're at 36%. Now we want this lot to take on that horde there. And that's been eliminated. Then we'll head back into this area here. We've got an incoming transmission. It's almost nightfall. Yeah, I know. We've just got to get ready. We're going to bring you lot into the headquarters because that looks like it's the best area for you. We have now scavenged all of this area so we can get back in the car and drive back to base. The watchtower is at least doing a good job of bringing down the hordes that come in from that area, but this one doesn't have anything. And it looks like I think we can go to a bow and arrow. It doesn't require firearm ammo. Users can take care of the arrows themselves and reuse them. So yeah, if we just go with a bow and arrow here, we've encountered people willing to join us. Okay, we'll accept them. The car must have driven past them somewhere. But we have now got some new people who are coming to join us. So that's good. And then we'll switch these guys to just using a bow and arrow as well. And then you lot are going to get out of the car. Just stay in that house there. Yeah, so we've got another horde there. I don't know if we actually need to craft the bow and arrow, or it will just use itself naturally. We better bring out some people to fight this horde. We can drive. Can we drive through them? Are they driving through them? Yes, we ran them over. Excellent. We're just going to go back and forth running them down. There we go. We got them. Bit of a primitive way to take them down, but we survive. At least the horde has now moved from that building, but we do have one here. They're going to come through and hopefully we'll start taking shots at them. Ammunition is looking okay. We do need more. It's worth keeping an eye out for that. We still need to adapt some more shelters, so what I'm going to do is next to this I'm going to craft another shelter just in that building there. Now that will require quite a bit of wood. We need 34 and we only have 17. But with this being demolished, we'll get a little bit more and then we'll probably demolish that building as well. So I'll queue that up. That gives us 7. Another 5 to get from there. And then I guess we can probably set about demolishing this one as well. That's going to give us a large amount of wood. We don't really need that there. Don't think it's going to be useful for anything. Whereas these houses down here are kind of where I want it. In fact, no, let's cancel the demolition of that one and we'll scavenge there tomorrow, and then we'll be able to focus on kind of working out where I'm going to have my settlement grow to. So what we could do is we could have a palisade wall that kind of goes along the back of the Winchester. Maybe we'll demolish this one, because if we can go along the back and then kind of make a long settlement that kind of goes around here, I think that might be a nice one to do just to start out with. We don't want to build too big because we don't have the resources to actually accommodate it. But yes, we'll speed things up, get through the night. We've spotted another horde. They're not going to come much closer, I think. They're getting taken down by everything else that's going on, so we're doing pretty okay. And it's daytime again. So we can now scavenge out here, and we can scavenge here. This is getting demolished. That shouldn't take us much longer. That's getting demolished. That's being turned into a shelter once we get enough wood. What we'll do is we'll have people gather wood from this area here. They'll chop down a few more trees. Once that's scavenged, we can maybe think about demolishing or converting that, because we could run a palisade wall all the way up and down here and then just have that watchtower be located a little bit closer to the tip. And our other alternative is to kind of demolish a few buildings here. Demolition takes a while, but you will get yourself a lot more space, basically, especially if you're building in a built-up city area. It can be quite difficult to deal with the demand for everything. We've got a little bit more ammunition there. And the scavenging is now complete, so they're going to go and load the car up. Yeah, we got quite a bit from that building, which is good. And we've also found an assault rifle. That's really good. That'll come in handy against larger hordes. But this is now, you know, we're starting to get to grips with things. Once we've adapted the shelters into living quarters, it'll be much easier. Car must have been full there, so we're heading back out with more scavenging missions. These guys are still scavenging in there. I don't want to get another scavenging team because it's going to be a little bit too much of a risk. And over here, what you need to do is you need to take some people out of your citizens panel to go into squads, which can have a bit of a drain on your general resources. So over here, we're pretty full. We're going to go drop off, and then we're going to head back out for some more scavenging a little bit further afield. These guys have cleared the building, so they'll go back and forth, dropping those things off. Then they can get back in the car now. And we'll drive out a little bit further afield. So we'll just go and start clearing out the buildings in this little section here. Once they are clear, we can really start planning on where we're going to build our settlement. And I think maybe we should probably leave it there. Once our buildings have been adapted, though, I will... we'll wait until this has been built. And then we'll start talking about the adaptation of our buildings. So I'm going to gather some resources. Once we've finished building that next shelter, we'll come back and you'll get a little bit of an update on how the story kind of progresses. Well, just before I did that, just as I was about to like sign off and do a little bit of off-cam work, we get this. To all survivors, the infection is in decline. Seek shelter and something, I don't know. And this is a repeating... This is the infection-free zone of Greenwich. Please respond. Is somebody there? It seems like this is an automated message. They can't hear us. It's just repeating over and over again. The same thing. So we are going to switch our channel. Speak to the chief. Signal's weaker. So a local library or university would be a good place to search for information on how to make it work. And the local library is all the way over there. So what we need to do is we need to head out to that library and see if we can get some information and work out how to boost our signals so we can get in touch with whoever's on the end of that line. We're going to continue scavenging for now, and I think that is probably as good a time as any to call it a day. I hope you enjoyed this first look at Infection Free Zone. It can get a bit chaotic and there is a lot to do in terms of micromanagement, but I really like the idea that it uses those real world maps and the fact that you can go and do stuff like this. Like, imagine being able to like find out the filming locations for some of your favourite zombie films and building a base around there and trying to have an alternative ending to some of those films. Like, imagine finding where the shopping centre for Dawn of the Dead was and doing it there. But here, in my little pub, the Winchester, things aren't going too badly. So, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.